Yellow. I've shared this understanding quite frequently, and it's because we often get caught up in this compare and contrast culture where we look at someone and we think we want that, or we're better than this person because of this, when in reality that's not necessarily the best way to think about things, because it takes self-awareness out of the equation. We're all different based upon our geography, where we're born, the kind of geography our parents or ancestors had. We're all different. We all got filtered out in this unique way. And so we all bring different things to the table. We needed to be like that in order to survive. It's an advantage. Nonetheless though, when we get caught up in this game of comparing with other people, beating ourselves up because we don't have this attribute, or looking down on someone else because they have that attribute, what ends up happening is that we stop reflecting on what we can do for ourselves, what we can maximize for ourselves. And that's just it. This game of life is about figuring out where you are good and applying yourself in that direction. From the microcosm to the macrocosm, this is true. You work with the cards you were dealt. And some people on the surface may seem like they don't have the best cards, but in reality, if they know how to cultivate those cards properly, because at the end of the day, we know what we should do for ourselves. As we progress through life, we get a better feel for the decisions we should make to improve our overall condition. Learning to listen to yourself and building a compass through trial and error. And so, this video is very important, I think, because we see here this much smaller man, Baby Hulk, versus Viking. You see here, this man is at first getting picked apart by the bigger, longer, rangier guy. Of course, look at this stat. He can't find his range. The guy's good footwork. He perfectly slid himself out of that fire. But look, as he just starts touching him, as he starts building his presence, Baby Hulk is just buying his time. He's waiting for his opening, and he's not rushing in too recklessly, but just trying to find his window to close the gap, and he does. You see him get a body lock, and from there, he has him against the cage, over-under position, gets the hips, and even though he's defending it, just the sheer advantage in leverage, because he's closer to the hips, because he is shorter in stature, so lower center of gravity, he has more leverage when cranking at the hips. So even though the guy's feet were positioned to actually defend it, he still pulled his hips from under him. The guy tries to go for a triangle, he can't really secure it, because look at this guy's traps and just his stature. It's just really weird, it feels like. He seems to not be able to secure a triangle choke on this guy. See that? It just slides off. There seems to be an anatomical advantage for this man in this position. The guy just can't get the triangle. But as he gets kicked in the leg, he decides to, this is not the best decision to make right now, let's stand it back up. Even though I did get the takedown, it's good because not only did I score points, but I put that into the back of his mind. He's going to have to worry about it now. And just like that, overhand goes in so easy, the guy rushes in, and that's just it. The moment you have that disconnect between, is he gonna shoot on me again, is he gonna go for a takedown, or is he gonna rush in and punch me in the face, that just adds a completely different element. And again, finding his space, making his way, making his entrance on the retraction of the strike, he found his space again. The guy was more wary of the strikes this time. He goes for the takedown, and from there is just a vicious beating. And at the end, it's interesting how the man said sorry. He feels for him. He knows it's one or the other, right? At the end of the day, it's either me or you, and one of us has to go, but we're still brothers in arms at the end of the day. We're all fighting for the same thing. And that's a beautiful thing to me. I think that's beautiful, considering the gravity of the situation, the gravity of what just happened. But yeah, as you saw in this segment, the smaller man, he looked like he could have been at a disadvantage, but he worked very hard to cultivate his own unique individual aptitude. He worked on building his own advantages. Just look at him, the man is a beast. Baby Hulk is right because he looks like Bruce Banner. Paint him green, give him like a shorter haircut, and he looks like Bruce Banner, but smaller. Perfect name, Baby Hulk. He definitely cultivated his own advantage and found a way to implement his own game. He wasn't rushing it, he was figuring out how to make his entrance. And when he did, when he started establishing his own presence opposed to just getting picked apart, that's when things started to really happen for him. That's when everything just got easier. The moment he got his opponent to think, the moment he got his opponent to figure out what's going to happen next, that's when even the simplest decision became an easy entrance. That's just it. Beautiful to watch. It just goes to show that it's not a matter of your size or stature, it's a matter of how you cultivate your individual aptitude for your given arena. and we can get lost in that in a compare and contrast culture, we can be deterred from ever building our own compass. But if you are able to cultivate a sense of self-awareness, figure out your game, and figure out how to implement it in correlation to the present moment, congruently with the present moment, the opponent at hand in this case, that is how you reinforce consistent, successful outcomes for yourself. That is how you win your game of life, because your game of life is individual. We contribute to this life together. We made it this far together. We need each other. But at the end of the day, one thing we must remember is that we give to each other individually. So we must cultivate ourselves first individually so that we may give. Whether it be giving our best in the arena or giving our best outside of it. Self-awareness is a core component to maximizing our ability to do so. To that end, thank you Baby Hulk, and thank you Viking for this lesson. Hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys are inspired to be less harsh on yourself, to realize you have your own thing to give. Every mistake you make, whether it be in the arena or the outside world, every battle you have, truly, it is with yourself. It's your game. To figure it out is to figure out how you can play yours the best. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, peace.